Giant tumors, skull fragments, and human brains are just some of the specimens that are sure to inspire or just perhaps gross you out. In the 7th installment of my series on notable collections around the D.C. region, we take you out to the National Museum of Health and Medicine, where you can be a tourist for the day.
So here we have the lower right leg of Major General Dan Sickles, who was injured during the Battle of Gettysburg when he was struck by a cannonball similar to the one seen here, which shattered his lower right leg, requiring his amputation.
Located next to the Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Silver Spring sits a little-known national treasure where every organ, skeleton, and bone fragment has its own story to tell, including this display which contains the actual bullet that killed President Abraham Lincoln.
We were founded as the Army Medical Museum in 1862, and we've been collecting ever since. Sometime in the late 19th, early 20th century, the museum's mission broadened to encompass more than just military medicine, and so now we are a national medical museum with a special emphasis on American military medicine, but a broad area of interest in medicine that for all persons, going back as far as several hundred years and looking forward into the future.
With 25 million objects, much of the morbid collection at the National Museum of Health and Medicine sits in storage. But as exhibits rotate, a small percentage of curious objects make their way to the public.
So what we've presented here is an exhibit that allows our visitor to see the normal brain, like the one over my shoulder here, to see how it normally functions, what it might normally look like without the effects of injury or trauma or disease. And then the visitor gets an opportunity to understand the nervous system function and the way the brain functions, and then to see actual specimens of the brain showing sort of typical types of traumatic injuries, gunshot wounds, hemorrhages caused by car accidents.
Among the many unique displays here is one on abnormal pathology. Here you'll find the stomach contents of a young girl who suffered from a psychological disease called Trichotillomania. For 6 years, she plucked her own hair and ate it, creating this giant hairball. Not everything is from the old collection, though. The museum is currently featuring an exhibit on the Iraq War.
Bay 2 is where the most grievously persons were treated, and this is the place that stories were told after the war in Iraq where the most American lives were saved or lost since Vietnam. So this is the actual floor where that work was done. You can see the betadine stains and the blood stains that are seeped into the concrete.
And Clark says that things learned in the military can eventually have an impact on the general public.
We are still collecting the modern military technology and practices and procedures of today's conflicts, because those lessons from today may teach a lesson in the future to somebody who's looking to take care of a soldier or develop a new prosthetic or understand a surgical procedure or find a new surgical tool to put on the end of a robotic arm. And for more information on the National Museum of Health and Medicine, you can log on to medicalmuseum.mil.